I was sitting at my desk, staring at a spreadsheet that suddenly did not matter anymore. My phone kept buzzing. Kyle walked by, paused, and asked with an awkward look on his face, "Dude, you seen Madison's Facebook?" Before I could even open the app, notifications flooded in. Likes, comments, tags. Then I saw it. A black background with white text. "Walk away from toxic men. Your peace is worth more than their chaos." Posted by my girlfriend. About me. The whole office felt like it was watching. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from. Drop a like if you have ever been publicly called out by someone you loved. And subscribe if you want to hear how I turned this whole thing around. To understand why that post hit me so hard, I need to take you back 2 years. That is when I met Madison. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon at a coffee shop in downtown Austin. I had just gotten promoted to project manager at the marketing firm where I worked. Life felt good. I was 28, finally feeling like I had my career on track. The place was packed that day, and I was sitting alone at a 4-person table, laptop, open, headphones in. She walked up and asked if she could share the table. I looked up and saw this woman with curly brown hair, a camera bag over her shoulder, and a smile that made me forget what I was working on. She introduced herself as a freelance photographer. We talked for 3 hours. She told me about her passion for capturing candid moments, how she hated posed photos because they never showed the real person. I told her about my job, my goals, my dreams of maybe starting my own agency someday. When we finally left, she looked at me and said something I will never forget. "You have kind eyes, Bryant. You seem like someone I could trust." That sentence wrapped around my heart and stayed there. The first 6 months were everything I thought love was supposed to be. We went on weekend trips to small towns outside Austin. We cooked dinner together on Wednesday nights, a tradition she started. She made her famous pasta, and I handled dessert, usually store-bought pie, because I cannot bake to save my life. We met each other's families. Her mom loved me. Her sister Tina was polite, but distant, always watching me, like she was waiting for me to mess up. I did not think much of it at the time. 3 months in Madison suggested I move into her apartment. It made sense financially. Her place was closer to my office, and we were spending every night together anyway. I agreed. I started covering more than half the rent because her freelance income was unpredictable. Some months she had 5 clients. Other months she had none. I did not mind. That is what partners do. Right? They support each other. My grandma Louise met Madison at a family barbecue that summer. Grandma is 80 years old and sharper than anyone I know. She has this way of reading people that borders on supernatural. After dinner, she pulled me aside near the back porch. She is a pretty girl, Bryant, but she talks a lot about herself. I do not hear her ask many questions about you. Just be careful, sweetheart. I laughed it off. Grandma was protective. She had been that way since my dad left when I was 10. I thought she was just worried about me getting hurt again. I told myself she did not know Madison like I did, but looking back, Grandma saw what I refused to see. The signs were there from the beginning. I just chose to ignore them. It started small. Madison would ask where I was going whenever I left the apartment. "Who are you meeting? How long will you be?" At first I thought it was sweet. She cared. She wanted to know about my life. Then it became something else. She did not like Derek, my best friend from college. She said he was a bad influence, that he encouraged me to act single. Derek and I would grab beers maybe once a month. He was married with 2 kids. The man was not exactly leading me into temptation. Every time I hung out with friends, I came home to silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that feels like a wall. Madison would not yell. She would just withdraw, give one-word answers, sleep facing the wall. When I asked what was wrong, she would say nothing at first. Then, eventually, it would come out. "You never prioritize me. You would rather be with your friends than with me." I started canceling plans to avoid the aftermath. She had this habit of comparing me to other people. Her friend's boyfriend surprised her with a trip to Hawaii. Her coworker's husband sent flowers to the office every Friday. Why do you never do things like that, Brian? I tried. I planned a surprise picnic for her birthday. She said it was sweet, but outdoor dining made her uncomfortable. I bought her a necklace for our 1-year anniversary. She returned it because it was not her style. Nothing I did seemed to measure up. The worst part was when I tried to talk about how I felt. Every time I brought up something that bothered me, she would cry. "You always make me feel like I am not enough for you. Maybe I am just too much. Maybe you should find someone easier to love." I would end up apologizing, comforting her, forgetting whatever I wanted to say in the first place. After a while, I stopped bringing things up at all. She started posting quotes on Facebook, subtle ones at first. Know your worth? Do not settle for less than you deserve. Strong women do not beg, they walk away. Her friends would like and comment with heart emojis and words of encouragement. You deserve the world, girl. Never settle. I read those posts and wondered if they were about me, but I never asked. I was afraid of the answer. By the end of year 1, I had stopped going to the gym. I rarely saw Derek or any of my other friends. I had no hobbies outside of work and Madison. My entire world had shrunk to the size of our apartment, and somehow I convinced myself this was normal. This is what commitment looks like, I told myself. This is what it means to prioritize your relationship. But late at night when Madison was asleep and I was staring at the ceiling, I felt something I could not name. A heaviness. A sense that I was slowly disappearing. I pushed it down every time, told myself I was overthinking, told myself everything was fine. Everything was not fine. Grandma Louise's 80th birthday was supposed to be a celebration. My aunts and uncles flew in from different states. Cousins I had not seen in years made the trip. It was a big deal. Grandma specifically asked me to bring Madison. She wanted to give the relationship another chance, she said. I was grateful. Madison agreed to come. She even helped me pick out a gift, a vintage brooch that reminded me of one Grandma used to wear when I was a kid. The morning of the party, I woke up early, showered, and got dressed. Madison was still in bed. I told her we needed to leave in an hour. She looked at me and said she could not make it. A client had called the night before with an emergency shoot. She completely forgot to tell me. It was a huge opportunity. She hoped I understood. I did not understand, but I did not argue either. I had learned that arguing led nowhere good. I kissed her forehead, told her it was okay, and drove to Grandma's house alone. The party was wonderful. Grandma was glowing. She danced with my uncle to old Motown songs. She blew out her candles and made a wish she refused to share. But throughout the day, people kept asking, "Where is Madison?" I gave vague answers. Work emergency. She sends her love. She is so sorry she could not make it. I said those words so many times they started to feel like a script. Before I left, Grandma held my hand. She looked at me with those sharp brown eyes and said something that cut through all my defenses. You look tired, sweetheart. Not the good kind of tired, the kind that comes from carrying something too heavy for too long. I did not know what to say, so I just hugged her and left. When I got home, Madison was on the couch watching television. No camera equipment in sight. No signs of any shoot happening. I asked how the client meeting went. She shrugged. It got canceled last minute. So I just stayed home and relaxed. Something broke inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet crack like ice on a pond. I asked her why she did not come to the party if the shoot was canceled. She looked at me like I was being unreasonable. I just did not feel like going, Bryant. Your family makes me uncomfortable. They are always watching me, judging me. Is it so wrong that I wanted one day to myself? For the first time in 2 years, I did not back down. I told her that was not okay. I told her she lied to me. I told her my grandmother was 80 years old and had specifically asked to see her. I told her I was tired of making excuses for her absence at every family event. Madison's face changed. The softness disappeared. Her voice got cold. She told me I always put everyone else before her, that I cared more about my family's approval than her feelings, that I was emotionally unavailable and always had been. She said I made her feel like a burden, like she was never good enough for my perfect family. Then she said something that stopped my heart. You told me your dad left when you were 10. Maybe that is why you do not know how to be present. Maybe that is why you push people away. I could not breathe. I had told her about my father in one of our most intimate moments. I had shared that pain because I trusted her, and now she was using it as a weapon. The fight lasted 2 hours. She cried. I went silent. She accused me of gaslighting her, of making her doubt her own reality. I sat there wondering if maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I had been the problem all along. At the end, she looked at me with tears streaming down her face and said the words that would end up on Facebook the next morning. You are toxic, Bryant. You make me feel like I am never enough. I slept on the couch that night. I did not sleep much at all. The next morning, I woke up to 23 notifications on my phone. My heart already knew something was wrong before my brain caught up. I opened Facebook. There it was. A black image with white text. Walk away from toxic men. Your peace is worth more than their chaos. Posted by Madison. 57 likes. 24 comments. All in the span of a few hours. I scrolled through the comments. Her friends rallied around her like an army. You deserve so much better, Queen. Proud of you for speaking your truth. Toxic men do not deserve second chances. Know your worth, girl. Then I saw her sister Tina's comment. Finally, I have been telling you this for months. Months. Tina had been telling her for months that I was toxic. I had been the topic of conversations I never knew existed. I was the villain in a story I did not even know was being told. My phone rang. It was Derek. Bro, what the hell is going on? I just saw Madison's post. Everyone's talking about it. I could not answer him. I just sat there on that couch, staring at my phone, reading comment after comment from people who had never met me, who knew nothing about our relationship except what Madison chose to tell them. For 2 years, I had twisted myself into knots trying to be good enough for this woman. I had abandoned my friends, neglected my family, lost pieces of myself I was not sure I could ever get back. And this was how it ended, with a public execution on social media. But something unexpected happened as I sat there. For the first time in 2 years, I did not feel guilty. I did not feel like apologizing. I did not feel like I needed to fix anything. I felt angry, and more than that, I felt clear. If Madison wanted the world to think I was toxic, maybe it was time to stop trying to prove otherwise. I called Derek back. For 30 minutes, I told him everything. The controlling behavior, the comparisons, the way she used my past against me, the constant feeling that I was never enough, no matter how hard I tried. Derek listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a long silence. Man, I have watched you disappear for 2 years. This is not you. The Bryant I knew in college was confident. He had goals. He had a life outside of whoever he was dating. What are you going to do? I looked at my phone, at the post, at the like button underneath it. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I clicked like on Madison's post. Then I wrote a comment. I agree. You should definitely walk away. I hit send. Within 10 minutes, my comment became the center of attention. Madison's friends did not know how to respond. Some left laughing emojis, confused about whether I was being serious. Others attacked me. Wow, you are really proving her point. Classic toxic behavior, Tina replied directly. Wow, even in this you have to be sarcastic. Can you not just let her have this moment? I did not respond to any of them. I just let the comments sit there. A single match in a room full of gasoline. 2 hours passed. Madison said nothing. Then the second post appeared. A photo of 2 suitcases sitting by the front door of our apartment. Her caption read, "Start walking." The comments exploded. Her friends were furious now. They called me a gaslighter, a narcissist, an emotional abuser. One woman I had never met wrote a 3-paragraph essay about how men like me were the reason women had trust issues. I read every single comment. Then I closed the app. I called Grandma Louise. "Grandma, I think I am coming home for a while." Her voice was soft and unsurprised. "The guest room is always ready, sweetheart." I waited until Madison left the apartment that afternoon. I do not know where she went. I did not care. I packed quickly, just the things that were mine. Clothes, my laptop, a few books I had been meaning to read for years. The watch my father left behind before he walked out, the only thing of his I still owned. I left her key on the kitchen counter. No note, no explanation, no dramatic goodbye. On the drive to Grandma's house, I cried for the first time in 2 years, but they were not tears of heartbreak. They were tears of recognition, of finally seeing how lost I had been, of mourning the version of myself I had abandoned to keep someone else happy. Grandma was standing on the porch when I pulled into the driveway. She did not ask questions. She did not need to. She just wrapped her arms around me and held on. 2 days later, Madison started calling. I did not answer. She sent texts. Long ones. The tone shifted with each message. First came anger. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. Do you have any idea how that made me look?" Then came bargaining. "I did not mean for it to go this far. Can we just talk about this like adults?" Then came blame. "Why can you not just communicate like a normal person?" This is exactly what I was talking about. I read every message. Then I blocked her number. I blocked her on every social media platform. No public response, no counterpost, no explanation for the audience she had built. I simply disappeared from her life. A week later, Derek sent me a screenshot. Madison had deleted both posts. Her new status read, "Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Moving forward." I looked at that screenshot for a long time. Then I smiled, put down my phone, and went to help Grandma with dinner. For the first time in 2 years, I felt like myself again. The first 3 weeks at Grandma's house were harder than I expected. Even though I knew I made the right choice, my body had not caught up with my mind. I kept reaching for my phone to check on Madison's posts. I caught myself rehearsing arguments in the shower, defending myself against accusations nobody was making anymore. Some mornings, I woke up wondering if I had been too harsh, if maybe I should have tried harder to explain myself. Grandma did not push me to talk. She just existed beside me. She cooked breakfast. She read her mystery novels on the porch. She let me sit in silence in the garden for hours without asking if I was okay. She trusted me to find my own way through. One afternoon, she sat down next to me on the porch swing. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "You know your grandfather was not perfect. Neither was I. We had our fights, plenty of them. But we never used each other's wounds as weapons. That is the line you do not cross, Bryant. Once someone shows you they are willing to hurt you where it hurts most, you've learned everything you need to know about them." I cried again that evening. Grandma handed me tissues and did not say another word. She did not have to. Recovery came slowly then, all at once. I started running again, every morning at 6 before the Texas heat became unbearable. The first week, I could barely make it half a mile. By the end of the month, I was doing 3 miles without stopping. My body remembered what it felt like to be strong. I called the friends I had neglected. Derek first, then others from college and work. Most conversations started awkward. I apologized for disappearing, for canceling plans, for becoming someone they did not recognize. Almost everyone said the same thing. Man, we are just glad you are back. Derek drove down to visit one weekend. We sat in Grandma's backyard drinking beers and watching fireflies blink in the darkness. You know what messed me up the most, he said. She convinced you that loving yourself was selfish, that having your own life outside of her was some kind of betrayal. That is not love, Bryant. That is control. I nodded. I had known it for a while, but hearing someone else say it made it real in a way it had not been before. I went back to work after a month. Mr. Patterson, my boss, noticed the change immediately. You seem lighter, Bryant. Whatever you did over your break, keep doing it. I started keeping a journal. Every night before bed, I wrote down what I was grateful for, what I learned, what I wanted to do differently tomorrow. It sounds simple, maybe even cheesy, but putting thoughts on paper made them easier to understand. 3 months after I left Madison's apartment, I signed a lease on my own place, a small one-bedroom near the office with a balcony that faced west. Perfect for sunsets. I thought about Madison sometimes, not with anger, not with longing, just with a kind of sad understanding. She was not evil. She was hurt in ways I probably never fully knew. People who need to control others are usually terrified of being abandoned. People who use your wounds against you are usually running from their own. But understanding someone does not mean accepting their behavior. Forgiving someone does not mean giving them another chance to hurt you. Those are two different things. I had to learn that the hard way. What Madison taught me without meaning to was that real love does not require you to become smaller. It does not ask you to abandon your friends, forget your family, or lose yourself in someone else's needs. Real love makes room for you to be fully yourself, flaws and all. And if someone posts about you on social media to make themselves look like a victim, if they use your deepest secrets as weapons in a fight, if they make you feel like loving yourself is selfish, that is not love. That is something else entirely. Something you do not have to accept just because it comes wrapped in romance. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not fight back. It is just walk away. And sometimes agreeing with someone who calls you toxic is the most powerful response you can give. Because you are not agreeing that you are the problem. You are agreeing that the relationship is over. You are choosing yourself. I sit on my balcony now watching the sun go down. The sky is purple and gold. My phone buzzes. A text from Derek. Drinks this weekend, I smile and type back. I will be there. I do not know what the future holds. Maybe I will fall in love again someday. Maybe I will not. But I know one thing for certain. I will never again lose myself to keep someone else. I will never let anyone convince me that my worth depends on their approval, and I will never be afraid to walk away from something that is slowly destroying me. She posted that I was toxic. I liked it and agreed. And then I started walking. Not away from myself. Toward myself. For the first time in years. Sometimes the best response to someone calling you toxic is to agree, step back, and let them figure out who the real problem was all along. So let me ask you something before we wrap up. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were disappearing, where you kept giving and adjusting and shrinking, and it still was never enough? I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share your experience. You might help someone else who is going through the same thing right now. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you are new here, subscribe so you do not miss the next one. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Sometimes a story at the right moment can change everything. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you carry this with you. Your peace matters, your boundaries matter, and walking away is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. Take care of yourself out there. You deserve it.